Yeah, I mean, working with Soph, first of all, was just a dream. We get on really well, and we'd worked with each other briefly before, obviously, on a short film, and so I knew that we worked well together, and I'd seen how she worked, so I was super excited to come in and work with her, because I just knew that she would bring this real intense energy that is just like so delicious to eat up, like as a scene partner. She's so brilliant at just like bursting into a scene, and I was really excited about what she would do with the character of Danny, and then obviously how Charlotte would react to that. And it was really fun as well, kind of the fact that we were all on location for the whole 3 weeks all together, because it kind of felt like really what's the word, like absorbing. It felt like really just juicy and like full the whole time, because we got to spend so much time with each other the whole time, and it was really fun. It was really, really fun for such a dark sort of twisted narrative, especially the way that Danny and Charlotte's relationship goes. We laughed quite a lot, and I think especially towards the end with some of the more sort of disturbing things that Danny does. It was really fun to do that with Sophie, because I knew that we trusted each other very, very well as well in the scene. So I definitely felt that we were in good hands with each other. But B, to do that with someone that you get on really well with, I think it adds to the performance, because you trust each other and there's a level of play and spontaneity that you get when you trust the other actor so intrinsically, and when you get on so well with them, you really can just bounce off of each other. And I felt like I went into certain scenes knowing what sort of baseline I wanted to bring, but then once me and Soph actually got down to it, it just felt so alive, like working together, which I loved. And then Isadora, oh my God, she's like a little firecracker. I fell in love with her. I think we all fell in love with her over those 3 weeks. And she just, again, it was one of those things where I read the character of Bryony on the page and kind of had quite a clear idea of who she would be. And then Issa came in and delivered that and more. And she was just so electric and so fun to just watch. It was very fun playing Charlotte, because Charlotte is sort of the eyes of the audience in a way in some parts of the film, because she's the most grounded in a weird way of all of the girls, which is odd considering Charlotte's sort of own trauma and self-esteem. But she's the most sort of not consumed by this crazy fantasy world of the online sphere that all the girls are in. And so basically getting to watch all the girls just go crazy.
I'm asking you to be in on it. Be in my videos with me. Oh.
It was great working with the other actors. It was a really fun group of actors. I think mostly I worked with Kelsey, and I'd worked with her before, so that was really nice. We already had a really clear like foundation, and we knew how each other worked, and that made building that relationship really easy, because I think that's a core driver for Kelsey's character and for my character. And I think what's nice is you have all these different female characters, but they all have like a really distinct flavour. So there was that kind of like intimacy and vulnerability with Kelsey's character, and then with Isadora's character it was much more kind of this slightly toxic competition, but still wrapped in with a bit of desire, jealousy, all of that going on. And then you see me and Sophia, and I have this kind of horrible control over her. And I think so much of the film ends up feeling like it's about power. So I think that's interesting as actors to like work out how to negotiate that as characters, whilst also obviously being respectful of each other as actors. And I feel like we did that really successfully. So it was a really fun process.
What does that mean?
Wait, it means your maid isn't coming. It means that you need to pack everything up and be out of here in a few weeks, unless you've got a spare $700K to pay off the mortgage.
What?
So I had worked with Nick before, and when the offer came in, I knew before reading it that I would probably say yes, just because I know how he works and I like his process, and it lines up very well with mine creatively. But practically, apart from, reading the script and I think it's hard when you have a part that is sort of sidelined from the main story to a certain extent to, and I was only shooting for 1.5 days, one day, really. I think it's quite hard to sometimes see yourself right in with all the other characters. You sort of have to take yourself away from the main storyline and do a lot of personal work on the story that isn't happening on screen that supports your character's journey. So it's a kind of an interesting creative challenge in many ways. Because Alba top and tails the film, and there's a little bit in the centre, but essentially top and tails it, a lot of what happens to her we don't see. We just know of as she brings some of that into the story, but it isn't in the actual film. Practically, I'm a very spontaneous type of actor. I don't particularly like to plan out things in a beat way before I turn up to set. I like to know my lines most of the time and organically see what's happening in the room. And Nick gives a lot of space for that. There's a lot of, even though he's working to time, he is the type of director who will afford an actor a moment of, can I try this? And I think that's really important.
I love you, Danny. Please pick me.
When I got this script, usually what happens when I get a script to audition for, I have to find empathy towards that character. I have to find a moment, a line, or anything that makes that empathy come through. And then I read through the lines, and then I just see how it affects me, and I kind of make my assumption of who she is, who she can be in my version, in my eyes. So I did that, and I feel like with Violet, it's so easy to feel for her, and it's so easy to embody her kind of vulnerable, open, innocent kind of state. So yeah, I just literally just read the lines, tried to see if it works for me, connects with me. It did. I feel like the more empathy you have for a character, the better obviously you're going to play that character. Yeah, I did that, and then I wrote a backstory about her when I got the role. And yeah, I worked through that, through the scene, through lines, through what people say about her as well. So I just found my way. But also, I wasn't even ready until we shot. And then when we shot, then I surprised myself with the things that came out. Because you don't always stick to what you kind of make, if that makes sense. You just see how it feels on the day and how the other characters make me feel. Because you don't really understand it until you're actually in the scene with the character. So yeah, that's how I go about it.
Plus, I could do with someone to stay and some like-minded people, so what do you say?
Fuck yes.
I've worked with Nick before, and it was our first time working together on Warblade. So coming into The Quiet Ones, I already knew him. I knew there was a base of trust, which was great because that script was quite out there and it provided that safety that I think it provided safety that I think really helped me go as far as I wanted to with Fabienne. I love that it was a completely contrasting character to what we shot in the other film. I love that. Fabienne was just, I felt like Nick had given me a gift with this because he was like, right, I've worked with you before. Now take this crazy character. I trust that you can roll with it. I love that because I feel like it pushed me in a lot of different directions and to a lot of new interesting places in my acting. And I love that challenge. I love that. And I think, and I hope that, I haven't asked him this question, but I think maybe he He gave me this challenge because he trusted that I could do it because he's seen my work before.
Be in my videos.
Right, so I'm homeless. Yeah.
What does it do?
What does it not do?
That's probably more important.
And I'm willing to bet that your sales have skyrocketed since I got here.
I'm not for anything. I just need some cash.
Honey, what's happening to you?